if you're watching this, you missed day 1 of our week 7 lecture. This one is on parameters and explore. Please keep in mind that the following assignments are past due and their deadlines are displayed. Please don't forget to turn those in if you owe them to me. In particular, assignment 0604 you guys did not do so hot on. That was the big O exercises. So we're going to take some time to review those next class, so please stay tuned for that. There's a new assignment, 070301, which is going to be on return and parameters, and that's going to be due Friday the 19th. So please make sure you work on it and email me if you have any questions, or come see me on Wednesday. Now, what is the point of today? To write our own functions that have been abstracted via parameters and return. What does that mean? Let's find out. So I'm going to skip that warm-up. It's on distributed computing. And let's go ahead and focus on return and parameters. So when we create a function, in the past we have had many functions, but they were very limited. What those functions had inside them was just parentheses. There was nothing in the parentheses at the end of the function definition. Well, it turns out you can put things there. And why would you want to do that? Well, this allows you to generalize the function. So a function might have a particular purpose, but you can tweak that purpose on the fly if you have some parameters. For instance, let's say you want to make a cake, but you want to have just one function that will make different kinds of cake. You don't want to write a separate function for lemon cake and chocolate cake and vanilla cake and all the kinds of cake. You just want to have one, and then you can send it the flavor that you'd like, and it'll make that specific kind of cake. Now let's say you also want to make different kinds of tiers. Well, now you have a function that's really customizable. You can make as large or as small a cake as you like, whatever flavor you like, all within one function. You don't have to separate ones. How does this work? Well, you specify what kind of information the make cake is going to expect. Let's suppose that we send it a 3 and a lemon. Then it's going to accept 3 instead of tiers here and lemon instead of flavor, like so. And it's going to run itself with these values inside here. Think of these like containers or variables, but you're going to set their values when you call the function instead of when you define it. Then we can go ahead and execute. So let's say we say, okay, make a cake with 3 and lemon. Well, here we have tiers and flavor. We're going to repeat tiers time. Then we're going to make a flavor cake and assemble however many tiers. Well, these values get directly translated into these fields. So make a cake of 3 tiers with lemon flavor. We're going to repeat it 3 times. We're going to make lemon cakes, and then we're going to assemble those lemon cakes. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Here we go, making the cake. Now, when we actually talk about these, it's important to identify the distinction between parameters and arguments. A parameter is a variable in a function definition that is then used farther in to signify what information you're going to use where. So think of these like variables. Tiers and flavor are variables. We just don't know what they're going to be ahead of time. Arguments are specific values that you send in during your function call. They get stored inside the parameter, but they themselves are a specific value, like 3 or lemon or chocolate or 17, like so. Now, sometimes you might want to have some kind of calculation happen, and you want to return it back from where you started the function. So if we take a look here, this calculates the cost of a cake. We want to figure out how much this cake costs. Well, we have some local variables to help us do that. We do some math to figure it out. We find the total, but then what do we do with that total? We don't want to just display it to the user. We want to use it for something else in our program. In order to accomplish that, we need to use this return keyword. This is reserved in most programming languages. And what it does is it takes whatever you tell it to and puts it right back where your function was called. So wherever we set cake cost 3 and lemon, that's where we're going to return the total to. It's going to come back to wherever you started. So let's take a look at some practical examples inside code.org. here we have the make cake function. I just made it print out that we're making a cake instead of making one. Also, please note, from now on, when you write pre and post conditions, your preconditions should explain what kind of information you're expecting inside of these parameters. That way, the user or whoever is reading this is going to know, hey, layer should be a number and flavor should be a word. JavaScript does not have an explicit check to make sure you do this correctly. So it's up to you as the programmer and distributor of this code to make sure people know what to put there. Now, let's take a look at how this works. Every single function, even ones that don't have a return in them, the ones you've been writing so far, do return something. So when you say make cake 50 and spam, even though there's no return statement in here, you'll notice that when I run it, it does return undefined. Why does it return undefined? Well, we didn't actually return anything, so it returns this undefined thing. Now this one is going to return the correct things. Now, in order for that to work, I need to send it proper elements in the proper order. So it expects the layers first, let's say 5, and the flavor next, let's say spam. Delicious spam flavored cake, you guys are all familiar with it, and it'll return the correct cost right back here, and then that'll get printed out. So hopefully all of that makes sense to you. If not, please feel free to email me. Also, please note that the assignment that is going to be due Friday is posted on code.org as well as my MCPS. You can find it there too. Underneath Unit 7, and Lesson 3 is what you're going to be expected to do by midnight on Friday. If you have any questions, please make sure you let me know via email. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.